to Expanding Your Search with Brent and Jody Bailey. We are growing our circles of connection and knowledge with encouraging conversations and positive communications. Today, Brent and Jody welcome
humanitarian bringing aid to the refugees from Afghanistan. Retired U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer John Hunt.
And now, here are your hosts, Brent and Jody Bailey.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. Welcome to Expanding Your Search and Stopping for Directions. It's Brent Bailey. I hope you're having a great day today. Man, it's a holiday, so hopefully you're getting out to enjoy it somewhat. Tell us what your plans are. Hit us up in the comment section below and let us know what you're doing today on this Labor Day as we close down summer. Let's head over to the control room where Jody is going to be joining us over there. Hey, it's Labor Day. What are your big plans for the day? You're going to barbecue, close down your pool. What are you getting ready to do? This is the official end of summer, even though it doesn't really end for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, it is. But it does kind of indicate, this is the time when people say, do not wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah, why is that?
I guess because, that's when fall comes in, and as we see...
Well, somebody should have told Boss Hogg that, because Boss Hogg wore a white suit, three-piece suit, and a cowboy hat year-round.
He did. He sure did. And there's a lot of people that say, no, I'm going to just still wear white. I mean, in Florida, it's always summery. So
it is.
Yeah.
I like white. I've got a pair of white jeans. I got a pair with the black stripe down on it. I wear white glasses, get made fun of quite a bit for it.
Yeah.
Oh, those are unique glasses. Well, I'm sorry that my sense of style has moved you to the point where you have to say something.
Right.
But,
yeah. So, I think that tradition kind of has gone out the door a little bit. But, there are some people that are like, no. It's kind of like you wouldn't wear your Easter bonnet in the fall because it just would not fit, right?
I've never worn an Easter bonnet at all.
Even when you were a baby?
I don't believe my
kidding.
mom ever put me in one. So, I know there are certain seasonal things. You're not going to wear a sweater in July.
No, of course not.
So,
of course not.
But I think there are some really cool white things out there. I've got a white sweater that I like to wear. And,
yeah?
Yeah. I guess white bothers people.
Yeah, well, but we both, all of us have white sweatshirts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Now, understanding linen, I can understand. I'm not going to wear linen when it's cold outside because you might as well just be out there with nothing. So.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about Labor Day because...
Let's talk about it.
A lot of people are like, oh, it's a day off. The kids get to stay home from school, and that's great. But why do we celebrate it?
Let me see. It's a celebration of all the days from when all the mothers. Is it Mother's holiday?
No, but that could be,
What is it then?
It is a day that we recognize all the men and women who have built, that they've labored to build this country.
To build the country, that's right.
Yeah.
I was messing around.
I know you were.
It is a day, I think FDR made it a holiday. Is
okay,
that right?
yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Where we do celebrate everybody that's worked so hard to build the United States.
Yes.
And, with everything trying to tear down what, the history of the United States stuff, nobody ever claimed that we were perfect going through this.
No,
But we still have tried to strive to build a more perfect union. So this is a day, all the people that worked on, through the Industrial Revolution, through the old days, you and I were traveling with the boys from Washington, D.C. up to New York, somewhere around 2012.
Right.
And I remember driving those backcountry roads because we didn't just drive the interstate. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And we're driving around, and I'm like, this was only 200 years ago, and for them to develop cities is because you drive through Baltimore and you work your way up through Delaware and all that. It's impressive to see how big those cities built in that fast in that quick a time.
Yeah.
Because those cities have been there for hundreds of years. So all the folks that this is your day to celebrate Labor Day. Those have worked real hard
Yes.
to make America the country that it is.
Yes. The land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next big day today.
The next
besides
big
Labor
day
Day is
it's also, which is kind of funny, it is also National Read a Book Day. So I think it's, it's great. I mean, I think it's because of the date specifically, because most people, Labor Day, they're out at the pool or the lake or the beach or whatever. But, I mean, I love taking a book to the pool or the beach and just, reading and relaxing. So, but it's just, it's a time, you know what? Everything is so...
this would have been a great day to have Liz Lazarus back on.
Yes.
Author.
Her books are amazing. Look her up, Liz Lazarus. She's a great author. I mean, I've been reading her books, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a day that maybe the whole family should just spend a few, maybe an hour. Grab a book. Each family member grab a book and spend an hour.
I'll let you tell the boys that.
Right, and I'm sure they'll listen to me, right?
That's a response we'll get right
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
It's a day out of school? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? I don't need to read. So,
all right, so moving on.
It is also Coffee Ice Cream Day. Coffee ice cream. And that really, it's not
it's
just...
the coffee flavored
No.
ice cream.
No. It is like make it with coffee. Yay!
I mean, anytime we have a coffee or an ice cream,
it's celebrated. But where I was reading about it, it is like literally like you can make a coffee shake. A coffee with
like
ice cream.
Flavor.
Yes. Well, yes, flavor, but you can
because
make it with the coffee.
There is coffee flavored ice cream.
There is, but where I was reading is get that boost of caffeine in your ice cream. You can do that.
Wow.
That's possible.
All right, let's do it.
Get some espresso and put it in there, and or espresso beans. Ooh, that would be good.
I mean, I'm all for experimenting on stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got every kind of way you can make coffee in our house. We have a drip machine, we have a Keurig, we have a French press, we have an espresso.
An espresso, right.
We even have an old tea kettle if we needed to do it. So. All right. So coffee ice cream day, excellent day. What else?
That's it. That's all. That's not a whole lot today because, again, it is Labor Day. And
well, here's a couple of things to keep in mind as you're sitting around cooking out or what have you today. There are a few things. I was trying to find it here. Krispy Kreme is offering glazed, fall-flavored glazed donuts.
Ooh.
They have the pumpkin spice.
Of course.
The apple cider, and now they also have the maple glaze. And all three of those are available right now. So if you've already started your day, you may have missed that, but you could try it tomorrow. You
know what? Donuts are good 24/7.
It's true.
It is very true.
Also, now our kids eat these, especially Peyton.
Yeah.
Preston used to eat them quite a bit, but because we find them all over the back of the cars. Goldfish. Everybody likes goldfish.
Yes.
All right, so now they have a brand new flavor. Goldfish has a jalapeno popper that's released this weekend. Yep. So you can head out and grab those.
It probably is pretty good. I like goldfish too. They're good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They are good. All right, last thing, food news. El Pollo Loco has introduced a double-loaded nacho meal.
Nice.
And if we were going to pick one thing that's like my kryptonite, if I'm trying to eat good,
nachos, yes.
Nachos are like the hard thing to say no to. So.
Yep.
I'm glad that El Pollo Loco is not on every corner.
Exactly.
But there's enough here in Orlando we could definitely go check that out. So.
Yep.
All right, that's what's going on around the country today. Folks, many people have been very aware of what's going on in Afghanistan. There's a lot of opinion out there about it. Aside from the opinion, there have been thousands of people who need assistance, if not hundreds of thousands. Our guest today has been somebody who has stepped up to the plate in a big way in order to meet that need. So let's bring him out here today and let's expand your search. My guest today is retired Chief Warrant Officer from the United States Army, John Hunt. And he is a proud husband, dad, and grandfather to his wife, Jeanette. They have 4 kids and 1 grandson. He is a retired, like I said, Chief Warrant Officer from the U.S. Army after 22 years as an AH-64 D&E attack helicopter standardized instructor pilot. That's a mouthful, isn't it? His career has spanned the United States between Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to Fort Hood in Texas, and also deploying to Kosovo, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Over 8 different deployments. We are so appreciative of his service. He currently works as an AH-64E instructor pilot in Qatar. He is going to be joining us all the way from the other side of the world while also pursuing his master's degree in political science at Liberty University. He is helping the Afghan refugees that all of us have had our hearts torn out of watching everything happen over the last week. He has been helping them as they arrive in Qatar to get some much-needed supplies. And we're here today to talk about how you can help he and the organization that he's working with to help these precious people. Please welcome to the program Chief John Hunt. Hi, John. How are you? Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey guys, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be part of your show today.
It is. First of all, let me say your service. We are so thankful for what you did when you served in active military. But now we're even more, just as much, if not more, appreciative of what you're doing, this humanitarian effort that you're leading the charge of there in Qatar. I know that it's, what is that, like 8 or 9 hours ahead of us over there?
Roughly, it's 6:22 p.m., so 18:22 right now.
Okay. So, yeah, that's, wow, that's 7.5 hours ahead of us. Thank you so much for your time today. Let's talk a little bit about, obviously the whole world has stopped to watch what's going on over there over the last week to 10 days. It has been, obviously nobody thinks it's been handled correctly, and we don't want to get into the political side of it because we really want to concentrate on the humanitarian effort. But as you've seen people fleeing and getting out for their lives, really, many have come to where you are in Qatar. Tell us what the scene has been like there when people are coming.
Yeah, so the scene has been, so first of all, our military service members, especially the United States Air Force, the air crews that have been flying these aircraft nonstop round the clock from Kabul into Doha have been extraordinary. I mean, just an amazing effort. And as you could see in the news, that it is a historic effort. But what I will tell you is that when those refugees are walking off those planes, as you can imagine, my wife has ancestors that went to Ellis Island, escaped a lot of horror overseas when they arrived in Ellis Island, and when they arrived in America, all they could think about was the freedom that they were about to experience and the horror they escaped. So it was a similar scene here. So all they cared about was being out of Kabul and not being under the stranglehold of the Taliban for their future. A lot of the concerns I can imagine is, the children were not exposed to any of that stuff over the years. We've got a whole generation of young boys and girls, men and women as well, that have never experienced that life. And you've got a lot of elders that obviously have lived under the rule of the Taliban previously, prior to 9/11. So to see the joy and the happiness on those families' face, and just the innocence on the kids' face was priceless. And I wish you all could have experienced what I've seen, but to know that they're out of harm's way is one of the most priceless things I've ever seen.
Oh, well, let's talk about how you got started working with the Afghan refugees. I know that you had a couple of tours there, or maybe more than that, there in Afghanistan. But talk a little bit about the history of your time there, and then how'd you get involved doing this?
Okay, so I've spent several rotations or deployments over in Afghanistan, just doing mainly combat operations. So I was fortunate to be here in Qatar at the right time, the right place, and the events that unfolded earlier last week. I think it was Saturday, a week and a half ago, I mean, I was the first 2 nights I was pretty sleepless, or restless. I'm sorry, couldn't get any rest, and I reached out to a couple of folks on post to see if they could use any help. And one of the it started out as a small tent, and they said yes, we could use this. Mainly clothes, diapers, just small items, just comforting items to help everyone get by, personal hygiene items. And I just put a simple Facebook post out to family back home to see if anyone was willing to, and I provided my address, and I just offered. I said, if anyone wants to Venmo me or PayPal me, I'll be more than happy to do the shopping. If it's a sacrifice for anyone to spend any type of money, and especially give money to strangers that they don't know. So I just started it out like that, so everyone's busy back home. COVID's got a lot of folks busy and not wanting to go out. So I just simply offered, if you don't want to ship anything or don't want to go through the trouble of anything of shipping items, if you send the money, every cent will go to buying much needed supplies for these refugees. And it started out like that. And that was just, I think the morning I woke up from here, I think I had about $1,000 in my Venmo, and I was very stressed because, to think that someone would trust me with that amount of money and not really know me on a personal level.
Yeah.
I do consider myself a very trustworthy person, but it's a sacrifice for anyone just to send money, especially that type of money to anyone.
I think that speaks a lot to the character of the people that and the people here in this country, that just they really, in the midst of facing hard times themselves, a lot of people are ready to jump in and help somebody else that are going through something like that. And so $1,000 on that first day, but since then it snowballed on you, didn't it? And it's kind of grown into something bigger. How much money did you end up raising yourself?
Yes, sir. So it snowballed pretty quickly. So at this point, as of yesterday, I asked folks to suspend donations on Monday of this week. And at that point, I had raised $16,322 by myself.
That's amazing. And so what at that point, what are you doing? Are you just going to the stores and just emptying their shelves and just?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. So I've got it's like a Walmart over here. It's called Care For. And so they know my face by now. And so every day I go in there and fill up several golf or trolleys, as they call them. In the South, we call them buggies.
Yes.
So every day I go there and fill those up. And at this point, I've spent just short of $13,000 of the donations at this point. And so every day I try to assess what needs need to be met for each site. There's several different sites on the base that are processing refugees and housing refugees. And each day after work, and this is all done after I finish my day job.
And what's that? I just you're instructor, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm a Apache instructor pilot here. And so once I finish my duties doing that, I just make my rounds around the sites and see what everyone needs, and then go directly to the store, fill their order, if you will, and go back and deliver it, and just make sure their needs are met for the day, because everything changes rapidly.
That's what I was going to say.
Changing every day.
What kind of things are you seeing that is a recurring need for those folks? I mean, I know we all think food and water, but then there's I know we've done some disaster relief things for hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. And we saw a lot of folks needing baby formula and diapers. I know you mentioned diapers a minute ago, but we see a lot of things that most people just take for granted. What are some other needs besides just the immediate food and water?
Yeah, so women's hygiene products were in a large demand over the last week and a half. Just basic necessities: toothbrushes, toothpaste. Minor first aid items, and clothes, because the facilities here are not set up for refugees. As you can imagine, it's a military base here in the Middle East, and it's set up for military operations, aircraft hangars, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So clothes, diapers, baby formula. Thank God we've met that need tenfold probably. So the babies are very taken care of. The
Great.
kids are taken care of, and of course, kids being kids, they want to be entertained. They, regardless of where I've ever been in the world or the United States, kids are the same, regardless of their religion, regardless of their upbringing. They're as innocent as they can ever be. So they just want to play. They want to interact. They love playing just very primitive games, and they're easily entertained by some of the most minimal items that you could provide them, and they love it all. So
that's awesome. Or what's the next step for some of these refugees once they're approved to depart from Qatar? What's the next step? Will any of them? Let's start with will any of them stay there in Qatar?
Yeah. So at this point, many of them will stay in Qatar at this point until they get some type of diplomatic clearance to go in other countries. It may be the United States. It may be somewhere in Europe. It may be India. There, surprisingly, which I was really surprised when all of this happened, there were a lot of American citizens in Afghanistan. There were a lot of green card holders in Afghanistan. So those obviously were priority once they arrived here, and they were processed relatively quickly. And that's for obvious reasons. They already had the paperwork. They were already cleared, and it was, the clearance and the diplomatic clearances were fairly simple. Other ones, like special immigrant visas or visas or special types of visas that would allow them to get in the United States, those are taking a little longer. So if they're cleared to go to the United States, they're going to go to the United States at some point. But the others are maybe cleared to go in other countries, so that may not get a clearance to the United States. So, but all I will say is that the United States has the personnel from the Border Patrol, the TSA, and other organizations within the government to facilitate those clearances before they leave here. So they're arriving in the United States with all appropriate clearances.
All right. So I know that you said you had folks suspend giving to you personally because you wanted to be able to make this beneficial for everybody. And so now we've gotten involved with a nonprofit organization called Obodo.
Yes, sir.
And people can still contribute there. Is that true?
That is true. Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to throw that information up on the screen right now so that if anybody would like to continue to contribute to help some of the refugees that have escaped Afghanistan are in Qatar. Are there other sites around that area besides Qatar where folks are, where they're putting the refugees?
The Qatari government has begun to process refugees as well and provide them the housing. Obviously, they're still in a consolidated area to ensure that they're still being fed correctly, still being provided for correctly, and just being provided a space to live and be comfortable until their processing takes place and they're able to leave the country.
Yeah.
Qatar has been doing an extraordinary job with facilitating everything within this whole scenario of refugees coming out of Afghanistan. So they're doing a really good job, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing here on the ground. So.
Yeah. John, I just want to say I wish the world was full of people with hearts like yours. We'd be in a much better state of people that just ready to just jump up and make things happen for people. Thank you for jump-starting that effort on your own. And now you're connected with this larger nonprofit organization. And if you'd like to support some of the actions that John and this group are doing in Qatar for Afghan refugees, and I know that right now that everybody has that in the front of their mind, right there it is on the screen. You can go to the abodocollective.org/help Afghanistan. And you can also follow them on Facebook and Instagram at the Obodo Collective. Our guest today has been Chief Warrant Officer John Hunt, retired, of the United States Army, who has been a light in a dark place. And John, man, I can't wait to meet you in person, shake your hand, and thank you so much for what you're doing. we're going to try and be involved in this as our church, our ministry is going to be trying to do some stuff to help with this as well. We really appreciate you, and thank you so much for what you're doing over there.
I appreciate you so much, and your kind words are, taken to heart. I really do appreciate it, and I sincerely appreciate this opportunity to talk with you all today.
Is there anything else that you'd like everybody to know before we let you go?
Well, just, when Afghan refugees are arriving in the States, if you get the privilege to interact with any of them, parents, kids, elders, just like any great American would do, welcome them with open arms. If they need help, try your best to help. There's probably going to be an influx of adoptions and foster care needs that may need to be met. My wife and I are foster parents as well. So we're also looking at those avenues. So just welcome them with open arms, because I promise you, they are more than happy to arrive in the United States and experience the freedom that we've all experienced throughout our entire lives. So, and a freedom that we all have at one point taken for granted, but I guarantee these folks will not.
This is John Hunt, everybody, and thank you so much, John. We appreciate you. We'll continue to lift you guys up in prayer, and we look forward to hearing more great stories from what you're all doing over there.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate all the prayers.
All right. That's John Hunt, everybody, and now let's stop for directions. Jesus makes a very important statement in Matthew, the 25th chapter. He begins to talk about what's going to happen when he comes back for the church. He begins to start talking about how people didn't treat him right. Now, many Christians automatically will jump to the holiness of their own walk with God and how God should be kept first and worshiped, and they'll make it all about themselves and their relationship with him. But Jesus says here that people that didn't treat him right are the ones who didn't feed him when he was hungry, didn't clothe him when he was naked, didn't visit him when he was in prison, and so on. Jesus tells us here that there will be people that are confused by his statement, and they'll ask him, when did that ever happen? And his answer comes in verse 40. He says, the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did to me. There is a time that we're living in, and it seems like it's on a daily basis now, where we have a chance to not only help people, but to actually bless God. The blessing, the helping, clothing, and feeding people like these refugees who are escaping from Afghanistan are not just a blessing to them, but they actually are a blessing to God. I want to challenge you today. Why don't you raise your hands and help people as much as you raise your hands to worship in God while you're in church? This is a tangible opportunity to show the Lord that you love him as well as you love his people. Help the least of these. Don't let yourself be one of those who gets confused. Your help will be pleasing to the Lord. Get involved with groups like the Abodo Collective. Get involved with groups like Samaritan's Purse and Operation Blessings. There are so many others out there. The bottom line is the least of these needs our help, and God is giving you a chance to bless him. Why don't you take him up on it today? That's going to wrap it up for the show today. My thanks to retired Chief Warrant Officer John Hunt and the incredible work that he and many others are doing there in Qatar by helping so many. I want to also thank Jody and Preston for another great program. Join us next time as our guest will be author Steve Hemphill. Until then, I hope we helped you expand your search. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today. Connect with us on @ExpandingYourSearch on Facebook and Instagram and @ExpandingSearch on Twitter. Relive any of our episodes on YouTube. We are available wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can also download the Direction Ministries app on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Take some time today to experience